We, the jury, find the defendant, David C. Rashid, not guilty.
Neenah's city attorney was acquitted on all counts in Winnebago County court tonight after a 3-day trial in a case where he faced 3 sexual assault charges. In a First Alert update, Drew Best joins us live in the Fox Valley newsroom with the defense's reaction. Drew.
Elise, the jury's decision indicates prosecutors could not prove beyond a reasonable doubt that David Rashid committed sexual assault or domestic abuse. Rashid and his defense were very emotional following the reading of the verdict, all sharing hugs with the people supporting Rashid. Now, as we've reported, the charges were filed back in 2024 when prosecutors say an anonymous email was sent to Neenah police accusing Rashid of abusing his ex-wife. An investigation later revealed that the email was sent by former City of Neenah attorney Adam Westbrook, who later in 2024 pled guilty in federal court to 1 count of distributing sex material in an unrelated case. Tonight, during closing arguments, the prosecution argued Rashid was not given sexual consent in a handful of instances while he and his ex-wife were still married. On the other side, Rashid's defense claimed the only evidence in the case was Rashid's ex-wife's testimony and the anonymous email. The jury ultimately siding with the defense.
To just day in and day out maintain your composure, not say anything, go through this justice system. I don't think people appreciate how stressful that is.
You saw a man getting his life back, his good reputation back, and getting everything back that's been taken away for the last 2 years because of these allegations.
Now, Rashid did decline to testify during the trial, but nonetheless, he walked out of the courthouse today with no pending charges. Reporting live in the Fox Valley newsroom, Drew Best, Action 2 News.